If you had to remove one of these two types of anime, making the other one superior, do you choose Isekai or Shounen? Tracy, you're going first. Your time begins now.
So when it comes to the argument of Shonen versus Isekai, I really have to side with Isekai anyway, strictly because we did have our age of Shonen back in the day when all the Shonen Jump animes took over and became the big ones back then. But right now, we're in a huge wave of Isekai anime. We've got even the grandfather of Isekai that inspired ReZero is that right now, Jobless Reincarnation. Anybody watching it, please do. Again, it is what started a lot of the tropes we're looking at. We look at a lot of the big ones right now, and it's always the Isekai ones that are really taking over everything from Crunchyroll, Funimation, all of the sites that we're looking at, because it really comes down to everybody starting to imagine themselves in a different world. We had the OGs, a Sword Art, Log Horizon, and all of that, where they were sucked into video game worlds, and now we're getting sucked into fantasy worlds, which are really big right now. And even right now, ReZero Season 2 has become a masterpiece as we speak, looking at it right now, falling apart. But when we look at the shonens, we kind of went back like slice of life-y with some of them, like Boruto. Some of them are really not standing out as much. My Hero is standing out, but at the same time, it's got that same repeat that was popular years ago. We already had that time. Right now is the time for Isekai to shine, because there's different ways we can look at it, from fantasy worlds, video games, to people who are just reincarnated into different lives, period. And I think that's why Jobless Reincarnation right now is really big. The man has a different chime to like be it from kind of a NEET who's stuck home all the time to really starting to really embrace his opportunities that he has around him. And you don't see that very often, where he still has the mindset of his past self. We're looking at kind of just the growth, and that's what a lot of the isekai is looking at, where shonen really focus on just action of the growth and how we were looking at that way, to personal, where he's remembering our life. Tanya, Saga of the Evil.
Oh, that is time. I didn't even realize. Getting me invested. All right, Maya. 1 minute 30 on the clock. Over to you. Your time begins now.
Wonderful. As a person who's a fan of both isekais and shonen trash, I was actually going to side with shonens anyway. I find myself getting confused with isekais sometimes. Like, as much as I love this season of ReZero, there were multiple times that I would like have to sit back and rewatch a scene because I got confused. With shonens, I understand that they'll have like some time jumps here and there, which is exactly what the shonen trash is. And sure, there was a huge wave of shonens in the beginning of anime. You got your Bleach, your One Piece, you have all of those. However, shonens have made a comeback. You've got My Hero Academia, you have Demon Slayer, you have Jujutsu Kaisen. These are all current shonens that are extremely popular because it's that time skip that makes the shonen a shonen. And even in some isekais, it has shonen elements because of the way the story progresses. Even with ReZero, there's a lot of shonen elements within it. And specifically, like with Demon Slayer, I can just automatically think of I'm blanking on his name right now because I can't. I'm thinking at 1,000,000 miles an hour. The main character, when he has to try and slice through the boulder and he can't for like 6 months, and you just keep. I understand, thank you, but Peanut Gallery. Like, I think about the 6 months that he spends training to slice that boulder, and I was so fully invested in that story.
And that's time. Tracy, back over to you. 1 minute 30. Your time begins now.
Gotta say, she kind of went into the next point I was going to make, where she made in hers. A lot of isekais have a lot of shonen elements in them already. But you know, you don't have in shonen isekai elements. It kind of goes that one way where we can have elements from that one, but they can't have us. We can still get the same impact of that storyline, that same impact of that growth in physical strength and psychological strength and their struggle. And a lot of the isekai is based on the psychological struggle and mental problems they're going through to really brave through it. But on the other end, when it comes to the shonen, you don't get that isekai. You don't get that person who has already lived a full life and is trying to get back, reincarnated as a slime, so I'm a spider. All of these also have elements where they're not just fighting psychologically, they're fighting to know what happened to them. I know watching So I'm a Spider right now is really big for me because the biggest part of it is that there's a mystery we have yet to even really dive into, which is how the hell did everybody get here? What are we doing? How is this affecting them? Their power-ups affecting them psychologically. They're all becoming different people. You don't get these same questions and mysteries in a lot of the actual shonen jumps where we're looking at, where we see exactly where it's going. It's fight, win, fight, win. You go to the isekais and it's fight, but then why am I here? What happened? What happened to my family in my past life? What's going on where I am now? Do I love them as much as I love my original family? I think about like a lot of the ones that came out last season. Also, there was the one, I can't remember the name, but the girl who was like loved library books and she was reincarnated as a little girl. And now she's like the most popular like wizard in town. And I think about that and it's just like, she remembers her past life and she misses books and that's her drive. She wants to bring back the love of reading these stories. And
that is time. 1 minute 30. Maya, the last word is yours. Be sure to unmute yourself. Your time begins now.
While I appreciate all those points that you brought up, Tracy, about how like isekais can have shonen elements, but shonen can't really have isekai elements, that just means like isekai as a genre isn't strong enough as itself because it has to incorporate other parts of other genres. So that's something that I literally just came up with on the spot. And I was like, that's really interesting to think about. And the part about the emotional attachment, I just want to say, like, while a lot of shonen trash is just fight, win, I like seeing the progression of these characters, like specifically with Fairy Tail. I have a fairy tale tattoo on my other thigh, kind of the growth of Natsu and Lucy together over like 300 episodes and kind of their relationships within each other of the entire fairy tale guild. I grew so attached to that. I was so emotionally invested in the entirety of the story, just seeing how everyone was growing together. And that's an element of isekai you were bringing up that you can actually find in shonen. A lot of shonen is trash, I'll give you that, but there are a lot of shonens that are very good right now. You have your My Hero Academia, you have your Demon Slayer, your Jujutsu Kaisens that you can get extremely emotionally attached to with all of this character development. It doesn't have to be this person is going through emotional toil and that's why I'm attached. You can just like the character for the character. So that's why I'm standing up for my shonen trash.
All right. Right on the dot. 1 minute back and forth between both of you. Both of your times begin
also
now.
My apartment's flooding and I'm getting really
Good
annoyed
luck.
to hear it.
Please, I hope you can swim.
Ready? Okay, so I'm going to shoot back on all your points. The first point you're making is that it doesn't stand enough on its own, but I feel like that's a strength that you just pointed out. The fact that a lot of animes are combinations of different genres, why Shonen Jump does not really combine as much of those at the same time. I think that the biggest strength is the fact that it's such a psychological barrier, but it can also combine the elements that we love about Shonen, the elements that we love about mystery, suspense, horror. It can combine all of that into one series because we're looking at it from the perspective of an emotional being who just lost their entire life.
I really like that, but you
one.
also have shonens that do have psychological components. You have your Parasite. You have your
I never
Psychopath.
said they don't have psychological components. I'm saying the psychological component of where we can be in that person's place.
I understand that you're not saying that they don't. I'm just saying you can have that same psychological attachment to shonens with these really deep, dark animes that really
they can be just as deep, but we can relate more to the one in which they're pulled from our life, the life we're in right now.
And that's time. Kai, who did it better?
I had to go with Tracy. I feel like a lot of her debate points came from like actually observing the genre rather than personal opinion of the genre. Whereas like I feel like Maya's side of the debate came from like a, well, I like these, and then also you're fighting for something that you called it trash in the same sentence.
It's
you said most of it was trash in the same sentence. Just it threw me off your side of the argument.
Okay. It's just a meme. Shonen trash is just a meme.
We ain't arguing because I was gonna point out
All
the
right,
same.
both of you, no, we're gonna get to the voting. All right, Mr. Ecstatic, who did it better?
They both did really well in this argument, and I was back and forth throughout the whole thing. I think I voted for Maya. I cited just from the point where I believe Tracy was bringing up certain points, and she says like, hey, Isekai incorporates this, and this, and Maya says, well, a lot of that is taken from Shonen and stuff, and without it, Isekai can't stand on its own, and that was a very strong counter argument that I sided with Maya on.
All right, fair enough. Next up, Mystic, who did it better?
Two things. I really love character development as well, and like that's like the best thing. I really like. I just feel like I'm with the journey with them, and all that. I'll just agree with everything she's saying. And Tracy, like, my ADHD is so bad. You were speaking way too fast, so I couldn't really understand half the things you said. I'm so sorry. So I have to go with mine. I have really bad
All
issues, so
right.
I sorry.
Okay. Coriander, who did it better?
I went with Tracy based off of debate technique. And then also just at the very end, Maya started to give in slightly. She's like, last word, you just went, I guess. And I was like,
I was cut off. I
Okay.
had more to continue.
okay. I did go with Tracy just mainly based off of the fact that she had like huge points in like the debate style, mainly because I don't know what those are.
All right. Noobs, who did it better?
Yo, I'm gonna have to go with Maya on this one. Shonen can like literally runs the world, so it's one of those things where if Shonen's not doing well, there is no anime platform. So realistically, I had to go with
I'm
Maya.
all here for
She
vote
made
for
some
Maya, but I just want to
solid-ass
point out you're
points.
wrong because there's a lot more genres than just shonen.
All right.
I know,
no.
but I've watched enough to know that Shonen carries the
No,
weight.
I have watched more. Trust me.
Okay. All right.
Tracy's gonna fight everybody, and I'm here for it.
Okay. All right. We got to keep it rolling here. Inu, who did it better?
I voted for Tracy, and the reason why is, while Shonen has its main trope that keeps it going, Isekai doesn't need Shonen in it to even be a success.
All right.
That's it.
Well, with that is, I believe, a 3-3 split on judges, Neurotic, if I believe that's correct. But Maya did walk away with chat vote, 63%. So I believe Maya is going to take this
I gotta go
round.
pee. Bye.
Oh, yeah, go pee.